Hello everybody, it's your boy Oscar. We're going to do something new today on the channel. Today we are going to predict, as you all know, I'm a Dutchman myself, and we're going to predict the eredivisie round 2, or like match week 2. So let's start this party off, shall we? So first off, we have Fortuna Sittard versus Almere City. Well, I mean, those two have been ups and down recently. Fortuna hasn't been really great so far. I haven't been really impressed. Fortuna, yeah, they're like there sometimes. Almere though, they were putting up a good fight against AZ Alkmaar last week. But then they get two red. So does that count? No. So what am I thinking? Prediction for the score. While I do favor Fortuna at their own turf, I think Almere can pull the job off. I think it's probably going to be like a 2-1 victory for Almere City. Then we're going to move on to Saturday, because we have a lot of good stuff coming up there too. We have Heerenveen versus FC Utrecht. Heerenveen has also a new coach, which is an old player of us. I think you all heard of Robin van Persie. He played for Fenerbahce, United. I don't know what clubs he played for, but he did play for Feyenoord once. He did pretty well against Ajax last week. Though he did lose the game, he wasn't really that bad as a coach. So, Utrecht does have their old trainer still, like Ron Jansen. Utrecht is also a force to behold, but they are missing some key players, like some Lauwers. He left for FC Twente. He left. There are a lot of guys who left Utrecht. But I think Heerenveen can pull the job off at their own turf. I think Heerenveen will win pretty easily, 3-1. Moving on to the next one, we have FC Twente versus Sparta Rotterdam. Twente has played the qualification round for I don't know how to call that. The qualification round for the Champions League. They did lose against Red Bull Salzburg in their own turf, meaning they will go to the Europa League group phase. Will that still bother them? I have a feeling it will. Sparta hasn't been too impressive either in their last game. They did tie against Heracles Almelo, which is kind of unfortunate because you do see always that winning. But will that affect the outcome of the game? No. Because I think Sparta can pull the job off against Twente, and I think Sparta will win 2-1. Moving on to the next one, AZ versus NEC. AZ was in great shape last season. They did, however, they missed some key players, like Pavlidis left for Benfica, Ryan left for AS Roma, sad, but okay. So AZ is missing some key players, but they are still quite a force to behold. And NEC are missing a lot of good players. Sillissen left for Las Palmas in Spain. And some other players left. I don't know which ones, but I don't know. However, I do think AZ can pull the job off against NEC. And I think AZ will demolish them 4-0. Moving on to the next one. RKC Waalwijk versus FC Groningen. The newly promoted FC Groningen. Well, not newly promoted. They were in the eredivisie like a couple seasons back when we became champions. However, they got relegated and things really went downhill from there. RKC on the other hand missed vital players like David Min, Etienne Vase. He left Etienne Vase for clarification. Left for FC Groningen. So he will come face to face with his old club. But will that affect the RKC team? I think it will, though. Groningen have been in top shape. They demolished NAC Breda in their last game with 4-1. And I think they will keep up that streak. I think Groningen will win probably like 1 with 0-3 in the ball. Like, they are unstoppable at the moment. Moving on to a derby, the Eindhoven derby. Heracles Almelo versus the reigning champion PSV. So, Heracles hasn't been really impressive that either. They tied against Sparta Rotterdam, as I said before. I'm not going to repeat myself. Heracles are missing some key players, but they got some good stuff as well in their barracks. PSV, suffice to say, they won the last game 5-0 against Heracles. 5-0? 5-1, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what the thing was. PSV have been are literally in top shape. Well, we did beat him in Eindhoven in the cup, so does that count? No. But will PSV struggle against Heracles? I think they will, and I think there will be a stun. There will be an absolute surprise in the making. I think Heracles will win 2-1. Moving on to another game for my club. PEC Zwolle versus Feyenoord. PEC Zwolle haven't been really that impressive. They did lose against Utrecht 1-0, so that could be a thing. We, on the other hand, have a false start. That was on our players. Now, okay, sort of, but not all of them are harmless. It was more mainly on the ref and the VAR. Let's just leave it at that. So we tied against Willem II, sadly, because we could have taken the lead. But will that affect us? No, I don't think it will. I think Santiago Jimenez will rise from the ashes, and I think we will win 0-3 against PEC Zwolle, because PEC Zwolle is also like kind of disarray at the moment, because their legend Bram van Polen has also decided to end their cooperation with the club. So I think PEC Zwolle will struggle from that, and I think Feyenoord will win pretty easily with 0-3 Hakswijk Jimenez. Moving on to another one, it's Willem II versus Go Ahead Eagles. Go Ahead Eagles were in the first qualification round of the Conference League, but they did lose against Baron. So I think that still bugs them, though. Willem II has got a point against us, so not much to say about that. However, I think Willem II will defeat Go Ahead Eagles. I think Willem II will win 2-0. And moving on to the final game of the second competition week, it's NAC Breda versus Ajax Amsterdam. Now, let me be the first to say that NAC has been really impressive in the playoffs last season. They did beat Excelsior Rotterdam, meaning they will promote to the eredivisie, which happened. However, they weren't very shining in their first game. NAC lost 4-1 in Groningen against FC Groningen, so they haven't been really that impressive. Perhaps I can show it here. However, Ajax is also looking for some revenge, because they do have a new trailer. They do have a new trainer, and they have been really impressive in Europe too. They did defeat Vojvodina, I would say easily, but they weren't really convincing. They are now facing Panathinaikos, and after that they will face like a Polish army or something. I don't know, some kind of club from Poland or something. However, I think NAC does have what it takes to claim revenge. I think NAC will make an absolute stun. I think NAC will win 3-0. And that's gonna do it for the app for the week 2, for the game week 2 of the Eredivisie. Next week, when we're all ready, we will also make sure to predict week 3, which will have NEC versus PEC Zwolle, Almere City versus PSV, NAC Breda versus FC Utrecht, Groningen versus AZ, Ajax versus Fortuna, has been delayed but will happen soon, Twente versus Heerenveen, Heracles versus Willem II, Sparta Rotterdam versus Feyenoord, the Rotterdam Derby, and Go Ahead Eagles versus RKC. We will predict those next week. And you'll hear from my community post how it went against game against PEC Zwolle. Anyway, that's going to do this episode of predictions for the Eredivisie, y'all. I'm going to see you all next week, and maybe tomorrow for the Story Set of Fate. Who knows? Anyway, peace.